You are down with.
Yo, Dave.
What up?
Drop the beat.
We like it old school.
Tuesday night.
What you listening to?
The brothers from the 818.
91331.
Pacoima, California.
What's up, Dave?
What's up, Caleb? Real and relevant conversation.
No script.
We invite you into our conversation.
What's going on, people?
You are down with.
The brothers from the 818.
Today's Wednesday, people. We normally like to get this in on Tuesday, but it's the holidays. You know, it's Thanksgiving. Folks got some traveling to do, some places to move around to, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I was on the road last night. But you know, we wanted to make sure we got it in this week. We missed y'all last week. We had some things come up and had to take care of some business. We might get into that if time permits. But yeah, man, like you said, a lot's going on. I like that background you rocking. What's up with that?
Yeah, you see that? I'm rocking the representing, man, the 818 to the 91331. Really. That is over my right shoulder. You can see the area that I grew up in, man. That's the Pacoima, San Fernando Valley.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Yeah, I was rocking this background, trying it out, and ended up in a work Zoom and forgot this background was up. And they was like, hey, what's up with the background? Who's that young man behind you? So I had to spend a couple minutes explaining my Gumby flat top fades. I guess that wasn't the Gumby one. That's the just the high top fade. I think it was rounded out. That haircut was probably a week old by then. But anyway, yeah, man, it's good to see you. It's good to be back with the brothers. It's good to be talking to y'all out there. This is Thanksgiving week. Today is the day before Thanksgiving. Pray that wherever you at, whatever you're doing, you're kicking it with some family, spending it with some loved ones, at least preparing your internals for some good old eating tomorrow. I know I got a lot of cooking to do and a lot of eating as such to finish it up. But really, Thanksgiving is just a time to just to reflect and to be thankful. And hopefully that's kind of what I want to get into tonight. I know last time today, I know last time we talked about, you know, it's kind of a Caleb Love Fest, and lots of feedback on that, man. People who we haven't talked to in a while hit me up, was like, man, one, it's good to see you and Caleb doing it. And two, I didn't know that about him, or I didn't know that that's where his path it took him. And so I got a number of, hey, when you talk to Caleb, you know, give him a thank you for his service from me type of thing. So I hope you felt that love, brother. I hope it lifted you up or gave you what you needed for a little bit.
Hey, man, I don't know if I want to. I don't know if I want to start there with my check-in.
Okay.
But I did certainly felt the love. I want to just thank you and Edgar for the opportunity for me to not only celebrate my military service, but my relationship with Edgar, and to be able to share that piece, a piece of myself with the audience. You know, there's a lot of stuff that's happened since that podcast. So I can't wait to get to it. Before we do that, let me check in with you and just see how you doing.
Man, I'm great. I'm actually, feeling mentally and physically better than I felt in a long time. I really, I think I had mentioned before I was doing keto and then some intermittent fasting, and, so really just getting back to what I call my fighting weight and that conditioning. And, your body, when it's out of whack, man, goes in a number of different directions. But when you start maintaining, getting that health back, all of a sudden, things just start to operate as they should. I feel lighter on my feet because I am more energy, able to think more clearly. But really today, I woke up this morning on a couch. One of my sons was on the other couch, another one's behind me on the couch, on the floor, another was on the mattress in front of me. And anytime I got my three sons in the same room with me, man, that's just, that's mother's milk right there, right? I was like, and we were talking about some miscellaneous stuff. I was like, hey, let me just pause you guys, because this moment right here is what I live for. If the bomb was to drop if it was all over right now, I'm exactly where I want to be with, with all my boys. So today I'm feeling good, and to be able to share Thanksgiving with them and the rest of my family. Shout out to my favorite sister in the whole wide world, my big little sis, Dawn. She's actually following us right now on Facebook. So any y'all out there on Facebook, you can check us out. But I know she's checking us out right now. And we grew up together. She raised me. She disciplined me. She got me in trouble and out. It's the experience I had with her and a Ouija board that ensures that I will never enter a store with a Ouija board or stay in someone's house once I know a Ouija board is there. That's just that's my ride or die sister, and I love her to death, and I'm glad she's checking us out right now. So if you're listening, just know I love you. I know you always got my back, always got yours, and that's the way this rolls. So that's what's up with me, man. I'm spending Thanksgiving with family, my nieces, got some cousins coming through, nephews. It's just one of them family. We're gonna try to control it the best we can. It won't be a whole lot, but it will be a whole lot of love.
Hey, man. I would also like to just tell my sister Dawn a big hello. I didn't realize that. Well, we've been rolling together for so long, but you just gave her credit for disciplining you, getting you out of trouble, and getting you in trouble. And so I think that's a whole podcast for us.
Yeah.
Do that one day. But Don, I love you. Hopefully, we'll be able to see each other soon. My check-in is really going back to the last time that we were on this thing together, man. It was me and you and Edgar and Shauna. We were on the podcast the day before the eve of Veterans Day. And Edgar said, "Hey, man, you need to make sure I told him to hydrate. And he said, make sure you bring your coin." So the first thing I like to say is I forgot my coin. And I was paying for drinks all day.
That's what you get. That's what you get.
That happened. I looked at the, I spent some time driving on Veterans Day and a couple of days after, and I listened to the podcast. And something that I noticed, besides the love that was shared, was my more than usual pregnant pauses and my ums, right? And normally I wouldn't highlight that, but I do so just to say that I was really caught off guard. I didn't know that you were going to do that. And I was trying to protect some people, and I was thinking a lot, right? There was things that I wanted to share, and there's things that I didn't want to share. And so I kind of had my pregnant pauses, and I was trying to change names and protect the innocent. So I feel like I did that, but I really reflected on just how much my brother, my battle buddy, Edgar, and I went through, and how there's a parallel process, a parallel relationship between, him, you, and a lot of my other friends as well. In fact, I picked up the phone and I called some people that I just don't always talk to. And I was just kind of loving on them for a little bit. And hopefully that they could see how, I have this collection of friends, and, none is any greater or much greater than the other. I'll give you the nod, Dave. You're my best friend. Edgar's my battle buddy. And then there's other close friends that is also in that same conversation. So I wanted to share that. So after my weekend, I came home, and I came home on a Friday, picked up the kids, came home on a Friday. And on Saturday, I wasn't feeling my best. I was like, man, what's that? So I told my wife, and my wife immediately jumped into panic mode. I had like a scratchy throat, and I was feeling a little achy. So I felt like, okay, maybe it has been cold. Maybe I came down with something, right? Maybe I came down with a cold or a flu or something. So that was Saturday. And Sunday, same thing. And come Monday, I said, I'm still feeling the same way. And she said, well, let's go get you tested for COVID. I'm like, man, I ain't got no COVID. I ain't got no COVID. There's no way I got no COVID. The vid, I don't got that vid.
Don't got that vid.
So I tested on Monday, and I waited and I waited, and I was talking to people. I even had some conversations with you in anticipation of getting my results back. And I was certain that I didn't have COVID because I didn't feel I wasn't asymptomatic, but I wasn't hurting. I didn't have any breathing issues. I really didn't have any of the other symptoms. I just had that a cough every hour or so, and I also had some achiness. I was kind of tired. Test came back. I was positive. So immediately, the fam jumped in the car and they went to go get tested. And so my wife and the two children got tested. Those results also took forever to come back in. And my 4-year-old tested positive, and my wife and my 2-year-old tested negative. Go figure, right? By the way, I'm breaking all kind of HIPAA laws, right? I'm just putting everybody's medical business out on the podcast. Hopefully no one comes looking for me. But I just think that it was really interesting that I tested positive. My daughter tested with my wife and my son the day after I got my results, or the day that I got my results. And she tested positive, but my wife and my son test negative. It's still a mystery. It really is still a mystery. So anyways, that's my check-in, man. I don't know if you have any questions regarding that experience. There's more to share if you want me to share, but that's my check-in.
No, man, we don't have to get into it. You always get on me about putting your business in the street. So since you put it out there, I'll tell you, when I got the call from you and you said, hey, this is what's up, I did one of these. Well, I feel fine, and no aches and no nothing. So I said, well, let me get a test. And so what I really want to say about that, and I know there's places out there, but I live in Orange County. It's hard to get a test, man. It's like I called my doctor and they were like, "You feeling symptoms?" I'm like, "Nope." They're like, "We can't see you. You got to go through OC." And so you go through and you'll see a test and you're like, "Ooh, let me grab that." And by the time you fill it all out, that test is gone. So long story short, it took me 3 days to get a test. And then they're like, it's going to be 4 days before you get your results. Thankfully, the results came in the next day, and they were negative. Which I knew I was feeling fine, and everybody around me was feeling fine, and it was cool. But what was interesting, growing up, I've had a myriad of tests. Everything from you got to take your HIV test because you're getting insurance, or you take a test because you got a scratch or an itch or whatever, and you get nervous when those test results are coming back. Like, what's it gonna be? What's it gonna be? I remember sitting on the couch and the email popped up 3 days early, mind you, of, hey, your results are in. And I was just like, oh, okay. And I just kind of grabbed it and I clicked, and there was like no, intimidation, no, hesitation or anything. And it was like, negative. I threw my phone back down and kept watching TV. So, but as far as, and I think I know some people who have, who've caught COVID, and I know some people who didn't been through it. I know some people who were asymptomatic. You're the first person I've met that kind of treated it like a cold, and there was no hospital visits, no respiratory visits, and so forth. So as far as the vid goes, I feel like I'm just thankful that you look great. Doesn't look like it really impacted you much. And as far as having to get it, I'm thankful your experience was relatively minor, and I'll just put it that way. No disrespect to anyone who's had it or who's seen someone really go through it. I'm just glad my best friend and his family had it a little easier. So that's what's up. That's where I'll close that one off.
Let me just add something to that, man. And I think it's important because we keep it real, right? We keep it real on this show. I think it's important to say that um, the 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 whole process is really convoluted and more complicated than it really should be at this point, in my opinion, right? um, I as soon as I tested positive, I got in contact with Edgar. I got in contact with you. I got in contact with the cats that I went golfing with, and I got in contact with one other buddy of mine that I saw on in the neighborhood, right? And I got in contact with everybody and said, "Hey, I tested positive. Go ahead and go ahead and uh, I recommend that you go ahead and get tested too." And I was doing um, my own um, tracing, right? Because I thought it was important for me to do my contact tracing and let everybody know. And so everybody that I was in contact with tested negative, but I have a positive test and I'm convinced that I have COVID, right? There's no doubt about that. My children test positive. My wife has now tested positive for it, right? Initially, she didn't. And so I will, the Department of Public Health sent me a text and said, "Hey, someone's going to call you. Make sure you answer your phone." So I went ahead and saved that number to my phone. Someone called me from the Department of Public Health with a different name, like wasn't calling for Caleb Baya. It was calling for somebody else. And I said, "Hey, that's not me, but I did test positive." And she said, "Well, I don't have your information," and hung up, right? And so I'm still waiting for my call, right? Okay, maybe you'll get it eventually. I'm still waiting for my call. My wife receives a call, and it's for me, right? And my wife is providing information regarding my symptoms, my health, regarding my positive COVID test. And I'm like, again, "Hey, man, isn't there some HIPAA restrictions about this, man? That's my health, man. That's my positive test. Why are you calling my wife
Right.
and asking her questions about my health?" And at some point, we're sitting side by side and we're answering these questions. But I find it strange and it bothers me that they didn't have my phone number correct. My phone number with all my medical records is correct, but they didn't have my phone number, which is a problem for me. So I'm gonna leave it there. I'm gonna leave it there for in regards to the issues that I have from with my COVID test. I add one more other thing. I wasn't being reckless. I wore my mask and I practiced social distancing. The one thing that I didn't do is, the one thing that I did do that I would do differently is when I ate or when I drank, and I did do a lot of drinking, I took off my mask. And some of that was indoors. And the advice that my wife gave me was that was probably the worst decision that I could have made, by being indoors and taking off my mask to eat and drink. But otherwise, when I got up from my table, I put my mask on. I went to the restroom. I came back. When I got up from my table to leave the establishment, I put my mask on and walked out. But because I wasn't in LA County, where I was, they weren't enforcing the requirement for outdoor dining. By the way, LA County now has ended all of that. All right, I'm talking too much. I just figured I'd do my PSA and announce that or share that information for everybody else. Let's get back to the rest of this podcast.
Cool. Let's do that. Like I said, man, I'm glad everything is well. I think the overall message is COVID is real, and you just never know where it's going to hit. And don't be careless, because you can catch it by filling up at the gas station, going to the grocery store, walking too close to somebody. So I actually have a lanyard that I use, and I've been in the house all day, so you can't see it. But I have a lanyard that I use that keeps my mask around my neck, so I ain't even got to worry about forgetting it. It's just if I'm going somewhere, I just remember to put it up and do my thing. Real quick, we even took family pictures yesterday, and I took some mass shots, man. So I got to share some of those with you when they come back, because it's 2020, 'tis the season. But anyway, it's Thanksgiving, man. And Thanksgiving means a lot of things to a lot of people. And without turning into a love fest, I just kind of want to go back in time a little bit and share a couple memories. Maybe you got a few as well, or maybe some of them even involve you. But I'm thinking about the Boys in the Hood, my crew in Oakland, man. We would the first year in Thanksgiving when I went to college, I think everybody went home. But by the second year, now we're forming our own relationships and so forth. And I remember that second year, my mom actually came up to the Bay, and we had Thanksgiving in my house. And so all my boys came over, and my mom spent all day cooking. She made a turkey, she made greens, she made cabbage, she made all the stuff you would make for Thanksgiving, except the mac and cheese. I'm gonna do the mac and cheese, right? And so all the boys came over, and everybody's getting their eat on, and all the food was good. But all my boys could talk about was, man, there's some good mac and cheese. There's some good mac and cheese, good mac and cheese. And at some point, my mama, she like start cussing. She's like, you little ingrateful, blah, 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 blah. She's like, I've been sweating over this all day, and all y'all can talk about is mac and cheese. F y'all, blah, blah, blah. And she kind of let us have it in her way, and everybody started laughing. And my boy Damani, he was like, yo, he's like, he didn't say yo, he was like, Mama Neil, that's what he called it. It's like, Mama Neil, I'm sorry, but the mac and cheese is good, right? And so that's kind of one of, when I go back to Thanksgiving memories. Thanksgiving for a long time was really about me and my mom. I was like, wherever you at, that's where I'm gonna be. Wherever you gonna be, that's where I'm gonna be at. And we would cook Thanksgiving together. So when she passed, I was like, I'm done with Thanksgiving. And not from a not thankful. I just wasn't cooking no more. I was like, I'll go somewhere else and eat. So this is actually my second year getting back into cooking Thanksgiving. So I'm really, excited about that. And I feel like I'm honoring her more by continuing our tradition instead of, backing up off of it. So I know when you've been married now 10 years, have you guys developed any Thanksgiving traditions since you've been in your new life?
Well, let me ask this first. What you cooking?
Oh, so I got
cheese,
two.
I know
I
it.
got all I'm cooking is I'm deep frying 2 turkeys. So I'm at my niece's house in Vegas, and I know she's gonna do some cooking. I know my sister's gonna do some cooking. I know different folks are bringing different things, so I'm not really sure. I'm sure it's a lot of traditional Thanksgiving fare, but I'm deep frying the turkeys. And after this, I'm actually rolling to go pick up a honey bake. That's kind of a staple. Got to have a honey baked while you're doing your thing. But I'm looking forward to both of those turkeys. I did a practice turkey last week, and it was banging. One of my sons, Preston, he don't even like turkey, and I walked in on him with a chicken wing in his hand and a piece of a turkey wing in his hand and some turkey breast hanging out his mouth. He was like, "Dad, this is amazing." I was just like, that's turkey. He's like, we ain't never had no turkey like this. So he's actually gonna help me prep today and tighten them up before we dump them in the grease tomorrow. So I'm looking forward to that too.
So you rolling with all your equipment, all your fryer and everything.
Yeah, man. Threw the fryer in there. I packed a bag with all of my seasonings. I'm sure there's seasonings in this house, but seasonings are expensive, man. I mean, you can't pick up a seasoning for 99 cents. Seasonings are like $4.99, $7.99. And you miss 3-4 seasonings, you might spend $40-50 just, tighten them up. So I grabbed everything out my counter that I know I'm gonna need, and put it in the bag and ready to go, including the deep fryer and the oil.
All right. So to get back to your question, by the way, I don't do a lot of cooking. I hear you talking about cooking all the time, man. You do a lot of cooking. Maybe that's why you carrying 5 extra pounds on meat.
Maybe because you can't cook.
I could eat, though. I could eat.
But anyway, go ahead.
I could eat. And I was generous, man. I only gave you 5 pounds. But I don't do a lot of cooking. But Thanksgiving has really changed over the years. My mother passed away 10 years ago as well. I've been married for 10 years. My mother passed away 10 years. And so Thanksgiving, we used to always get together. The Baya clan used to always get together at my parents' house, in the 818, the 91331 on DeGarmo, right? And we would get there and everybody would come together and celebrate Thanksgiving. So I wonder if you could spot my parents' house on this map behind me. Oh, forget about it. Um, so since my mother passed, there has been like a roaming Thanksgiving meal. For a house taking on the responsibility to host. And so we did that. We've hosted at our house a couple years in the past 10 years. And there's some people, I'm gonna put my family out there too. They ain't listening. There's some people houses that you're okay going in there and saying, okay, I'm gonna have a Thanksgiving meal and I'm all right sitting there ain't enough couches and chairs for everybody. I'm gonna sit on this floor. And then there's some people houses where you don't want to be on their floor. Right. And so there's the Bayas have gone and bounced around to maybe there's 10 of us, right? 8 of us in California, 7 of us in Los Angeles County, right? But it's probably still just a small group, maybe 3 or 4 houses that we will bounce around and we'll celebrate Thanksgiving with each other. And we also will do that for Christmas as well. We'll go to someone's house and we'll celebrate Christmas as well. But Thanksgiving memories really go back to my time on the block, man, spending time with family at my parents' house and celebrating that way, man. Good food and something else that we've done. I'll add this too, just to kind of to bring home the fact that I'm not a cook, but I'm an eater. So I come to Thanksgiving houses. I come to houses on Thanksgiving Day with to-go trays. I walk in with my to-go tray, right? Don't laugh. That happened. I come in and I got about 3 or 4 to-go trays because I got pies and cakes, right? I'll do that. Aunt Jean, she's known throughout the family for making her pies, so I know I'm gonna eat that. I'm gonna load up another tray with some meats and then some sides. Man, you gotta bring your to-go trays, and if you don't have a to-go tray with you right now, Dave, you still got time. Get to that Smart and Final, get to that Walmart, and go get you some good to-go trays so you could bring some of that back, that good eating back down to the AV.
You know, I'm old school, man. Paper plates and aluminum foil make a good to-go tray. And so, so I'm gonna make that happen. But honestly, I feel like, truth told, I'm gonna be here Thanksgiving. That's tomorrow. I'm gonna eat some Thanksgiving food on Friday. I'm gonna have a little bit on Saturday, and then I'm done with it. Honestly, I don't really want any more. And so going home empty-handed is fine by me. So, and if the turkey's as good as it was the last time, I'm sure it ain't gonna be much left after tomorrow anyway. So it'll be good.
Man, I really love another tradition that you reminded me, talking about aluminum foil and paper plate.
Mm-hmm.
In my household, sometimes the food the next day and the day after that was some of the best food or eating that I had all year. I would make me some turkey sandwiches, and I could eat that all day. I would eat it until I was sick and tired of turkey. And then usually around Christmas, we'll have some more turkey, and then I'll be ready for some more turkey. But just the leftovers and that process of continuing to go in there and seeing what's in there that's calling me often, it reminds me of Thanksgiving and large family get-togethers.
Right. Well, here it is, and I'll say it. We the brothers from the 818, and you know, whether you are watching, if you're watching this, you know who we are. If you're listening, you can tell who we are. If you know anything about the 818, you got a good guess. If you know anything about the 91331 or the or Pacoima, you know exactly what we're talking about. But Black folks in general well season their food. The reason why high blood pressure and all that and different health epidemics are so rampant is because, you know, a lot of times we over salt everything. You serve somebody in a plate, they grab the salt and pepper before they even taste it and start hooking it up. Be like, you don't know if it's, you know, what it is or whatever scenario is. And so we over season or well season everything. And so what happens, just like you said, the food's going to be great tomorrow. But the next day, that seasoning didn't have time to work in. It didn't have time to saturate a little more. And that reheated edible is just the bomb. It's like if you make chili or anything spicy, it's good when you serve it. The next day, when them seasonings saturate a little more, it's just gonna hit you on a whole different level. So it's some seasonings, man. That's why it tastes so good the next day and the day after that, because you're just giving time for that flavor to just really soak in. So I'm looking forward to that too. Just so you know, the folks that ate my last fried turkey was really going back for second and thirds because there's like, man, I ain't never seen anything seasoned like this. And I just kind of looked at them and shrugged my shoulders. It's like, well, look at the deliverer. I mean, look who's serving it up. You ever had a fried turkey at all?
Man, I love fried turkeys. In fact, I think that's my preference now.
Yeah.
But again, that's only been over the last 10 years or so, right?
Yeah, yeah.
By the way, you got a plate of greens. Let's just say you got a plate of some greens, and you're going to reach for, you want to spice it up a little bit. You want to just add some hot sauce on it, right? What hot sauce you grabbing? What hot sauce? If you had a selection of hot sauce, like if you don't have, you're going to use what's in the house. But if you had a selection, if you wanted to buy something to make sure that you could have it for your greens, what brand are you going to do you go to? What's your go-to brand?
My staple is Louisiana, and then second is Red Rooster. So, you know, I keep both in my house. They both have a little bit of different flavor, but they both hit that point exactly where I want it to be. I was in my refrigerator the other day and found a bottle of Tapatio. Now, I didn't buy that, right? And I was just like, okay. And so since my sons aren't bringing food into the house, I'm blaming Lana for bringing Tapatio into my house. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been there. I know people really like it. I don't particularly care for the flavor of it. The heat is whatever, but I don't care for the flavor of it. But I'm a Louisiana cat, and then Red Rooster is my second. What about you?
Hey man, same. Louisiana is where I would go. I don't like Cholula. I don't like Tapatio that much, right? There are times in which I would use it, but Louisiana would be what I would use on some soul food.
Yeah.
Some soul food.
Yeah.
Right. There was a time in which I would keep a bag of Lay's chips in the office and a bottle of Tapatio. And I would put the Lay's chips when I wanted a little snack, put it on a plate, put Tapatio on top, and get down like that.
Okay.
Perfect. But if I'm eating some soul food, I'm reaching for Louisiana.
Louisiana's the way to go. I actually, you know, and now we're switching over to, you know, the soul food aspect. I prefer my food spicy. And if I can, you know, tap up any type of a soul food and add a little kick to it. Mind you, I got kids, one who will take the heat, the other one who, you know, you give him too much ketchup, he's going to be fanning his mouth. You know, he don't do spice at all. And so I wonder what Christopher's, I'm going to have to spike Christopher's food. He might be listening right now. I'm going to have to spike his food tomorrow and see what his heat tolerance is. I know he can dig a little bit of heat, but I don't know how far he goes. So we're going to find that out. Christopher, if you listen, I'm coming for you, just so you know. But did I ever tell you my habanero story? Did you ever hear that one?
No. Were you challenged? Did you have a habanero challenge?
Kinda. So we're going back to Christopher was a baby, right? So we're in the 90s, 96, 97. Lived on the block and a whole bunch of married couples on the block. There was an older couple to live next door to me whose daughter just moved back home. She was Polynesian and 26. and liked to be outside in like some short shorts and a top washing her car. So whenever she was outside, all the husbands on the block was outside washing their cars too. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, long time ago,
Reminds me of
long time
Friday.
ago. Yeah. So yeah, exactly that type of a thing. So we was outside
Miss
chopping it up one night, Miss Parker. Yeah. So we're talking about heat, and I was, hottest thing I had ever tried was a jalapeno at that point. And she was like, "You ever tried an habanero?" And I was like, "Nah, but it's, what is it? Just a pepper. It ain't no big deal." Because I'm like, all you gotta do is put it in your mouth, chomp down on it, push it to the back of your throat, swallow it. You never even really feel the heat. And so she came out with one of them little snack size sandwich bags. It was frosted over, and she reaches in with like the tip of her nails and grabs the tip. I should have known right then and there. She was like, "Now don't try to be no man about this. Just bite the tip and spit it out, and you'll be fine." And I was like, whatever. I took a big bite, chomped down, pushed it to the back of my throat, swallowed it like a G. It came back up and washed over my tongue and then slid down my throat. I'm telling you, everything from the tip of my tongue down until it came out was burning every step of the way. I don't know how long. I mean, I knew at one point how long your actual intestines and small intestines is, but whatever it is, it burned every inch of it going the whole way. Man, I was sucking down ice cubes and sucking in air and drinking milk. Nothing helped. I was just dead and dying slow. But since then, to a jalapeno or a habanero like it's nobody's business, man. The sensation of my tongue is burned off. And I'm like, I do ghost pepper sauces, and I'd be like, it's hot, but it ain't deadly. And I just kind of shrug my shoulders. But what you see is like the sweat starts coming down across my head. And that's how I can tell how hot something is, how much I sweat, because the heat doesn't bother my tongue.
Let me say this, man. That's a funny story, man. That's hilarious. I like food to taste good, right? And I've been talked into and convinced to do some challenges that I wouldn't do at my current age, right? But when I was a youth, I did some things that I regret, right? But in regards to heat and fire on my food, I love it. But there is that point. There is that tipping point where it's no longer enhancing the flavor of the food, and it's just hot beyond what I would consider edible.
Yeah.
And so people and guys, usually guys, I don't know if there's women that do this, but usually it's guys that's sitting around having a couple drinks, having a couple shots of something, right? And want to dare each other, and they wanted to take on the biggest, hottest thing, pepper in the house. I'm cool with that. Y'all go ahead, right?
Yes.
I'm not 20 years old anymore. I'm not 30 years old anymore, right? I did that already, right? I want to consume things that are delicious, right? In fact, I'm sure you've had people tell you, "Oh, this is disgusting. Here, take it, taste this."
Right.
Why in the hell would I ever taste that?
Right.
But people
I see
will
your
do that,
face.
right?
Yeah.
There are people that will say, "Oh, here, this doesn't really taste good. What do you think?" No, I don't need to give you my opinion. I trust your opinion. If you said it doesn't taste good, that's enough for me, right?
I think what you think right now, because I'm looking at your face. Yeah.
But I've done my share of stupid things before. But today I like food to taste good, and I don't need to go out on a limb. I don't need to push myself beyond what I would consider is reasonable, within reason.
Yeah, I hear that. People are like, I challenge you to do this. Be like, I'm 50. Yeah, for me to accept challenges at this point, if it's not financially beneficial or something that I really need to do in life, I can throw a hard pass and don't feel bad about it. And I ain't no punk for not doing it. I'm 50. I'm done with that. For example, Buffalo Wild Wings, is a favorite of my staff, and I love the mango habanero. Right. And it's hot, right? But it's sweet. It has a great flavor. They're like, you should try the blazing. It's like, I've tried the blazing and it is hot, but it doesn't even taste good. It's so hot that it takes away from the test. You're just dealing with the heat. And so, since I got nothing to prove and actually paid for this meal, I would rather enjoy it and stick with something that's more palatable. So, and I look at that way for any food. I'll try something that happens to be blazing hot, but if the heat overrides the flavor, then I'm going to ask you, what's the purpose? Why are we doing this?
Yeah, I'm right with you. I'm right with you. Man, you see what happens with what happens when we start talking about Thanksgiving and food. We go down these rabbit holes, man.
Yeah.
And I like how you pushed off on that your coworkers like Buffalo Wild Wings. Man, I don't know two people that like Buffalo Wild Wings more than you and me. And so that's funny. That's funny that you put it on your coworkers.
Hey, I'm gonna throw it. Yeah, I love me some BWW, B-dubs. We go back. But yeah, so Thanksgiving's about family always. It's about food. It's about memories and creating new ones. I showed up in Vegas 3 weeks ago because my niece had just had a baby, and I really wanted to see the baby. And we got to talk about Thanksgiving. It's like, hey, well, let's just come back for Thanksgiving, and just gives me and my boys a chance to spend more time with family, and just to build that memory sense and to see more family and spend time, to get some good food, to laugh, play some games, have some fun, have some drinks. My niece called me this morning, and she was just like, hey, I'm coming through later. We're gonna have some drinks, right? And I'm being nice. She didn't use those words, but we gonna have some drinks. I'm like, yeah, let's do it. Let's hang out, and not to get crazy or stupid, but just to hang out and have some fun. The other thing about Thanksgiving, though, and I don't know how much you get into this, but I'm sure you got a perspective on it. Tomorrow is Thanksgiving, but Friday starts the first official shopping day, Christmas shopping day of the season. And being that we're in COVID and everything is, tightened up, a lot of places started their Black Friday sales early and so forth and so on. So what's your take on all that? Because, you got kids now, and I know you do a little more for the holidays than you typically may have done in the past. But what's your take on all this Black Friday stuff and the hype that occurs in previous years with people hitting the malls? Obviously, they can't do that this year, not like they did before. But what's your take on that?
Hey, man, that's interesting. So let me take it back and remind people that I grew up in a Muslim household, right? And didn't celebrate Christmas until I was an adult, right? We grew up around with other family members, aunts and uncles and cousins that were Christians, right? But I grew up in a Muslim household. So we, on Christmas Day, we would stay indoors, and kids would ride by our house with new toys and gifts and stuff, and be begging for us to come outside. And I didn't want to have anything to do with it because I didn't have any new toys, at least not on that day, right? I didn't have anything to share that I just unwrapped that day, right? And so, as an adult, and now as a Christian man, Christmas is really about focusing on the life of Jesus Christ, right? And in our household, we don't want to overwhelm our children with an abundance of gifts and toys, because they have plenty anyways. So we're going to make sure that we take care of them, especially because there's some deals out there and there's some specials out there, and they're going to have some Christmas gifts. But I still think our household doesn't function like the typical Christian American in America. And it's interesting. It's interesting because you're asking about Black Friday, and I separate the two, right? Black Friday is an opportunity to come up, right? It has nothing to do with Christmas in my mind, right? That's opportunity to get something that you had your eye on for a long time, and it's on sale, it's priced down, it's discounted, and that's opportunity to come up. So that's my thought about Black Friday. And the other thing is, I'm not a shopper. People will tell you that I'm one of the toughest people, toughest persons to shop for, because almost everything that I want, I already have. I've already got it, right? And so my wife, she buys stuff for me, and you know, I might open it, I might use it, or it might just sit there, right? I would prefer, as it pertains to receiving a gift, I would prefer to have a say-so in it. That's just me. That's just me. I don't want you to go buy me a tie that you think that I'm going to like. We could go buy that together. Give me a gift card. I'd rather have a say-so in it. There's been times in which I've received some electronics and stuff. I would have much rather have had a say-so in it. Now, I might get myself in some trouble, because you asked me about Black Friday, and that makes me think about Amazon and stuff showing up at my door, especially because the malls are shut. There's enough stuff showing up at my door every day of the week, right? And hopefully my wife ain't listening today. She's gonna listen to it at some point, right? And I'm gonna pay for it. But there's enough stuff that shows up at my door every day, and we don't need Black Friday to have any more boxes show up. So there are just some of my general discussions around Black Friday and receiving gifts and sending gifts. At some point, we should have a conversation, especially as we move towards Christmas, about not only Christmas traditions, but focusing on Jesus Christ, and those that are celebrating Christmas that are agnostic or faith or without any belief in religion and faith, right? Or people that are of other faiths, but they want to get in on the goods too, right? I grew up with some Jewish folk, right? They wasn't celebrating Hanukkah; they were celebrating Christmas, right?
Right.
I know some Muslims celebrating Christmas, right? Some agnostic and non-believers celebrating Christmas, right? And I don't fake the funk, man. I don't fake the funk. People are entitled to do whatever they want to do, but you know, I don't get in and follow trends, and I don't do things because everyone else is doing it. I do things because I believe in it. So, anyways, there's some of my thoughts, maybe for another podcast.
All right. So you and I have been best friends since 1983. I moved here in June of 1983. I met you in August, September in the computer lab at Maclay Junior High School playing Conan. I think that first Christmas, I was kind of just Christmas with family. By that second Christmas, me and you was running the streets a little bit more and hanging out. And you remember what I got you for Christmas that year?
No, I don't. But
No.
I remember other guys for Christmas.
Hey, he might be listening. Go ahead and put him on blast. But and that was the year after that, actually. But that first Christmas, I got you a Fat Boys tape, man. No, you got me a Fat Boys tape. It was their initial album came out in '84, and you got me it for Christmas '84. And I got you a Richard Pryor tape. Is it Something I Said? Because that's when we used to just sit in the room with the boombox and listen to like old Eddie Murphy and Richard Pryor tapes and try to, do the jokes the way they did. So that's just random. It came up. I do agree with you about the opportunity to come up. If there's things that I've been looking at getting, sometimes I'll hold off and say, well, let me just wait. In one of my cars, the radio died, I don't know, August or so. And so I called the shop I got it from, and he was like, well, you're a good customer. Let me just give you a discount on the new one. And I was like, hey, man, I appreciate the discount, but is this the same discount you're going to be doing on Black Friday? Because then I'm not really coming up, right? I mean, he's like, oh, no, the discount I'm going to give you is much better than that. And he gave me a nice discount, but I was monitoring, and I'm still monitoring his Black Friday sales. And yeah, his discount he's offering isn't even close to what he gave me. So he was a man of his word. Like you, everything I want, I have. I do. And if I see something I want, I get it. I don't necessarily need someone else to go buy something for me. However, during this time, because there are people in my life, I do slow down a little bit, and I try to share. Hey, I saw this, I saw that, I saw this, I saw that, of all price ranges. Some things cost $3, $4. Some things cost $300, $400. And because I want to share it out there. And I was sharing with Ilana the other day something I saw, and she was like, "You didn't share a whole lot, and I think I'm done with you sharing." I was like, "Okay, all right, well, I'll stop." But just want to make sure you have some selections to choose from and so forth. Like you, I think Christmas is a celebration of the birth, or at least the day that we say that we acknowledge for the birth of Jesus Christ. I don't want to get into whether or not he was a Christmas baby or not, but I do have a shirt that I love to wear during this season, and it says Christ Mas, which Christmas, and then in parentheses it says more under the Mas. And so it's basically saying Christ more, or more Christ instead of Christmas. And so I like to wear that and just kind of throw the reminder out there that tis the season he's the reason for the season. But for the secular aspect of it, I'm looking forward to a white Christmas this year. I'm taking the boys up to, like an Airbnb where we could just kick it and just be with us and have, snow on the outside, and a Christmas tree, and open some gifts. And I want to do a white Christmas this year for them. So that's what's up.
You better have that Airbnb booked already, because a lot of people are thinking about doing that same thing.
They are, and what actually happened with the governor changing the rules, a lot of people gave up their reservations because they're like, "Oh, well, I'm not going anywhere," blah blah blah. So if you're gonna jump on it now for anyone who's out there. Otherwise, if you wait a week, it's a wrap for you. So you're not gonna see that. Worst come to worst, I'll just hire somebody to stand on my roof and drop some white powder outside, so I can be like, "Look, it's snowing," and there it is. There it is. So
hey, every year, well, more recently, Secret Santa. You participate in Secret Santa?
We don't do Secret Santa. We do White Elephant.
Okay, Secret
The
Santa.
same
White
difference.
Elephant. Yeah, same difference in my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, I play along. I get it. Maybe I'll walk away with something that I like, or maybe I'll be left with something that I really don't like, and it may not even make it home. Right? I might just leave it right there on the floor of the restaurant when we have restaurants that we could exchange gifts. But that stuff is fun. It's fun. I enjoy it. I don't know the last time I've actually gotten a gift or purchased a gift for someone outside of my immediate family. I just don't do it. I don't do it because I feel like it's hallmarky. I feel like it's gimmicky. I feel like it is falling into the traps of the commercialization of Christmas. And maybe I need to work on that. Maybe I'm taking away some of my Christmas shine because I just don't do it, because it feels gimmicky. It feels like it is not genuine. It's not sincere. I don't know the last time I've got you a gift. I don't know the last time I certainly haven't purchased gifts for other members in my family, like my sibling group. If I did, it might be something really generic, like some lotto tickets or something. Right. But I don't, some people get a lot of joy out of being able to buy like a coffee mug and say, "Oh, here's a coffee mug, and here's a placemat, and here's this, and I saw this," right? And just being able to give something to somebody, right? A lot of people get a lot of joy out of that, and I don't want to damper their joy or what they're trying to achieve in giving, the season of giving, right? But I just don't do it. It doesn't feel genuine to me. It doesn't feel, it's not organic, but that might also be tied to how I was raised and me being part of the Orthodox faith now.
I look at it like this, and I'll go ahead and say it. Christmas for me is really about Christ, but on Christmas morning, it's about seeing my boys open up their gifts. And so my priority is to take care of my three boys. I got a special woman in my life, so I want to make sure Ilana is smiling because she knows that her man took care of her.
Can't stop mentioning
Um,
her name, man.
Hey
I'm
man,
so
back
tired
up
of
off me. Back up off me. But my mama's gone. So everybody else, hey, you get some Christmas joy, Merry Christmas, and so forth. Now, what I do, I remember I was surfing the internet one day and I saw a Game of Thrones Monopoly game. Man, I like Game of Thrones. Caleb and Shauna like Game of Thrones. Let me order two, and I think I sent one to your house,
Yeah,
right?
I got
And it was
that.
probably like May. So if I see something I think you're gonna like, I'll take care of you right then and there. I don't need a holiday to do it, right? If I see something that I think someone would benefit from, or hey, I was thinking of you and I saw this, I'm gonna take care of it right then and there. I don't need a holiday to do it. And so for all my people, if you're watching this or you hear about it later and be like, David just don't like to buy gifts, that ain't true. I just take care of people when I feel like taking care of them. And when they cross my mind and something hits it, I do it. And when it doesn't, it doesn't. But my boys and my girl, Christmas, birthdays, I do all that.
Good
Absolutely.
stuff.
Matter of fact, was it Shauna that asked you? I think Shauna asked you because we had like the big when I had my 50th. She's like, "You're not gonna get David nothing for his 50th." It's like that's just not how we get down. I mean, we don't. It ain't about the gift. I just need to be there and celebrate with him. And I was like, "Yeah, I could care less." I think you came with a bottle or something, or maybe you didn't. I really don't remember and don't care. It was more that you were there. That was a bigger gift to me than anything you could have brought.
And people are saying, man, Caleb is so arrogant now, man.
You are.
Caleb is so arrogant that he thinks that his presence is the gift, right? Um, that's funny. And yeah, I'd rather have people show up than bring me a box of socks or a tie, right? If you showing up, you don't need to bring me a tie or a sock or I don't know, a keychain or a coffee mug, right? I'd rather have the conversation, but that's me. That's me. And by the way, I did bring you something to sip on at your 50th.
Yeah. So, yeah, give me something to sip on. And I did get some nice gifts. A friend of mine, I brought it with me because I'm gonna wear it tomorrow. Got me an apron, says "Don't poke my meat," right? Which is a line from the book I wrote. And so I love that. And somebody else made me a pie, and I got some cool stuff. Don't get me wrong. But really, it's about presence for me. So if you hear this and like, well, I guess I don't have to buy David nothing. If it's a concern for you to buy me something, then don't. I'd rather
Right.
it not be any stress. But like I said, if I see something I think somebody would like and they cross my mind at the same time the event or the gift or the object or the item does, then I'm gonna take care of them on the spot. And I don't need a holiday to celebrate someone. There are people who are in my life aren't valued greater or less because it's a holiday. So I told my girl that about Valentine's Day, and she was like, "Yeah, but you better not show up empty-handed." So, like, all right, you get my point, but at the same time, do not show up empty-handed. So, anyway, man, Digital Underground time. Digital Underground
No,
time. We gotta.
before you do that,
Okay.
I want to put this out there
All right.
because it is pretty close to that. It is that hour. It is
Yeah.
that hour. We've been talking about the evolution of the Brothers from the 818, and so people that have been watching and have subscribed, they see the evolution because not only do we now have theme music, right? Not only are we now on Facebook, right? Not only are we not only streaming with in more than 10 different streaming platforms, we also got the 818 behind us, and this is the season for us to continue to talk about our production, right? Our production, not just the audio and video stuff, but also what topics we're going to talk, what topics we're going to bring. And so there is, I just want to tell the audience while I'm talking to you, there's a plan for us to continue to bring interesting topics and conversations, something such as the meaning of Christmas, or us talking about financial independence and establishing wealth, or
something that I thought of after on my drive, which was brotherhood and what that looks like, and and how that's defined in different circles. I also want to have a conversation about fatherhood. I know that we've done that around Father's Day, but there's more to be said than just that. And what is our responsibility, not only to each other, but to the community, and then to the nation at larger, and then more globally, in fact, right? And so we'll continue to bring interesting content and conversations. I know that there are people in my ear that says, "Hey, why don't you guys do this? Hey, why don't you guys do that?" And we're taking notes. We would love to. So if you have an opinion, if you have a suggestion, we please continue to share that and send that. I plan on getting Don on. I don't know if Don is still listening, but I'm gonna get Don on. Hopefully I'll get some of my siblings on as well, because I would like to have a conversation about generational gaps, even within family groups, right? And see how different we look at life in my generation versus how someone 20 years older than me, what their goals and ambitions were when they were 20, 30, 40, 50. All right. And maybe someone younger than us. So anyways, I just wanted to put that out there because it's something that we've continued to talk about, and something that we continue to plan for.
No doubt. Well, this is episode 31 for us, man. So, we're continuing to be faithful, continuing to be diligent. I just want to remind you and everybody else, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. And, we're going to keep doing this, and not for the fame and glory, but just, to be about being on purpose, and to make sure we fulfill our original goals of being, social commentators, being socially responsible. I like the pieces you put in about the family. I'd also want to add into there, what are your responsibilities, as a family member, versus in your, late 40s versus 30s, or versus 20s, and so
Wow.
forth. Where does that fall? And whatever else comes up. I think still working on us a producer. I think as we get into more of that, we'll have some more creative abilities at that point, and different things. So yeah, the evolution of the brothers from the 818. Remember, we started off as two Afro wearing, long sock wearing brothers from Pacoima, walking through Pierce Park Apartments. I wish somebody would X, Y, and Z, and look where we are now. So life is about evolution, and so is the show. And as we grow and as we evolve, we'll bring on more interest, more people, more commentary, more comments, and see where it goes. And you show up, I show up, they'll show up, and we just gonna do our thing. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. What's up?
So click like, subscribe, hit the notification button if you want to be put on notice of when these come out. Facebook.com/brothers from the 818. I can tell you that because when I sent that out via text, I got banned by the FCC. So I'm not sending that text out no more. I don't know what happened, but they banned me for like 5 days. Couldn't send a text to anybody. But we're out there, man. We're on Twitter at 818 Brothers, Instagram, Brothers from the 818, Facebook, YouTube, Brothers from the 818. You see the back of the screen. The brand is starting to take note. Got some shirts and business cards coming your way. That's my Christmas gift to you, just so you know. You said you want to be in on the gift. Now you in on it. That's what you're getting. Just to put that word out there. But for everybody else, Thanksgiving's tomorrow. And I don't know what that day means for you. I don't know where you at. A lot of times I read a statistic, how they say about statistics, some people are an apology away from no longer living on the streets, right? But they can't humble themselves to bring that apology, or family grief has kept them apart, and what I want to say, if you got some family, if you got some people out there, if there's no other time of the year for you to reach out, today's that day, tomorrow's that day. No time like the present, because tomorrow's not promised. But tomorrow is Thanksgiving. And if you wake up and you see your breath on the mirror in the morning, then you got something to be thankful for. So on behalf of myself, Dave, as you know, and my main man, Caleb, and the brothers from the 818, spending a special shout out to the 818, the 91331, Pacoima, California, surrounding areas. We send y'all love, peace, and y'all do y'all thing. We out.
Peace.
Peace.
You are down with
The brothers from the 818.